Alright, let's hope this works. Looks like it's working. I don't see any errors. It takes a couple of seconds. Doobie doobie doo. You're in the chat, so you should start seeing it. There it goes. Last week's went a lot better, but hello, Pot Bunny Catcher. How are you? I have to actually pull up the listings because I've been busy for the past 6 days and my memory is shot. What we do in the Shadows, Season 4 episode list. It'll jog my memory a little bit more. Wish it was easier than this, but so much that I don't remember. But hopefully I can get a few peeps on. Talk about people's favorite episodes, favorite parts, what they're looking forward to, and then definitely get some more input on shows to watch. I've been told The Omen was a good one, and Hannibal. I think they're both hour-long shows. Those are hard to do. Why are these? Actually, I might. Los Goosebumps. I still keep forgetting to find this on YouTube to do a reaction because I totally missed it when I watched whatever episode that was live. I don't like this. They don't have all the episode names. Let me go to Hulu. Let's go to login. Where's my phone? I can't even read it. Pot Bunny Catcher 9. Did you watch the entire season? Hannibal's a great show. Everyone says that, and I love Mads Mikkelsen. I just don't know if I'd be able to edit an hour-long show for a reaction, but I could definitely try. I need to find my phone. Where's my phone? There's my phone. Hot Bunny, have you completed Hannibal? Whole show, cool. So we got Hannibal, we got The Omen, Mental Notes. I'm just trying to log into Hulu so I could get this listing. And I forgot. Oh god, my password is terrible. I gotta update this. Oh my god. So bad. Okay. So let's go to my stuff. What we do in the shadows. Oh, I already have Hannibal added to my list. I have Atlanta on here. I have The Great. What else do I have? Wu-Tang and American Saga. What else? Community I've been wanting to start. Maybe I'll do Community. Does anybody here watch Community? All right, that's not what I want to do. All I want is show so I can pull up. There we go. All right. So we got this season was an interesting season. At the end of season 3, I've not seen Prodigal Son. I could put that on my list too. At the end of season 3, I was very intrigued by what they were going to do with Colin Robinson when they made him a baby, and I predicted. Everyone probably predicted that once this season started, by the end of it, he would become a grown man again, and that is what happened. And but the way they did it was pretty cool. It was really hilarious. Looking at my stream health, the audio's bitrate is lower than the bitrate. We recommend to use a stream bitrate of 128. I'm not at my home computer, so I'm using OBS on a different computer. So my audio bitrate is 160. My audio bitrate, we recommend to use an audio stream bitrate of 128. I am above 128, so I don't know why that's happening. I'm actually at 160. But can everybody hear me and see me fine, even though I'm getting this error message? But it says that my stream is excellent. All right. Everyone seems to like Community, but anyways. So I'm going through, so with Colin Robinson, his arc this season was really funny. And it was actually exactly what many of us probably predicted. And even though it was what I wanted and what I thought was going to happen, it still didn't come off as predictable. So that was neat. And the way at the end, it's so sad at the end. I don't want to talk about the ending right now, but the way it ended for Laszlo really broke my heart. My audio is working. I really set this stream up before checking any of my settings because I was running late. So I'm glad everything is actually working. Let's see. I think my favorite episode was probably Go Flip Yourself. That episode was really funny to me. I like how they parodied all those shows from like the Oxygen Network and stuff like that to do a show with them, but how it also ties in at the end with that twist, because when that episode first started, I was like, oh, this is just going to be a turn your mind off comedy episode that has nothing to do with anything. And I really enjoyed how they tied it into previous seasons and the stupid hat. Like, that was really dope. Laszlo, man, it's crazy because he doesn't seem to care about much besides his wife and himself. And even if he does care about Nandor and everyone else, he never really shows it. So it was really sad to see him raising Colin Robinson, which you find out is for an entire year. So it takes, I don't know if it's all energy vampires or just Colin Robinson, a year from when they're born to when they become a human adult again. And it was sad to see him take care of them, teach them things, have fun with them, teach them instruments, reading, books, movies, theater, and then all of that just for him to forget when he becomes an adult. And I also feel like Colin Robinson would be the type to remember but not admit it. So I'm still holding out hope that he actually does remember all of that, but he's just being a dick about it. Oh, the Nandor Guillermo fight. That was the night market, right? Where they were, I think that was the night market, yeah. And he had to pretend to kill him. which is actually funny because Nandor was talking a lot of smack and forgetting that Guillermo is a vampire killer and literally could have annihilated every vampire in that night market. The Lamp was a good episode, but also a good season arc just to kind of illustrate Nandor's incompetence and selfishness. I believe they gave him like 500 wishes and he wasted them all on pretty much garbage. Like, even if someone is pretty selfish, the wishes they would make for themselves would be a lot better than what Nandor wished for. But the worst of the worst was when he duplicated what was his name? Was his name Franklin? No, his name was Freddy. When he duplicated Freddy, he couldn't just let Guillermo have something and be happy for once. Like, he had to take it. But I guess that was also an easy way to write off his wife from the show, because there's no way they had enough space in a full season for another full-time character. So rather than killing her again, it was an easy way to get her off. What does Guillermo feel about Colin growing up too fast? That's a good question because Guillermo also has compassion for everybody, regardless of how he's treated. And towards the end, it did seem like he was taking some interest in Colin. I remember the batting scene where he was teaching him how to hit and play baseball. So, I don't know. Since it takes place over the course of a year, we don't know really how much time he invested in Colin growing up. But by the end of the season, that very, very last scene with Guillermo paying to become a vampire, that makes me feel like Guillermo really doesn't care anymore. Because he did, in a sly way, get the pin number. But when you think of it, Najma, Nandor, Laszlo are all dumb enough to just give him the pin, even if he just straight up asked for it, like, give me the pin. They would have gave it to him. They don't know any better. But I thought that was pretty cool how, he's been treated like crap the first 2 seasons fully, and then I don't know if he's ever been respected, but he's definitely been feared once it was brought to everyone's attention that he was a expert vampire killer. So they just basically feared him, and then he really forgot all about wanting to please Nandor for Nandor to make him a vampire. He didn't seem to care about that. Like season 1 and 2, basically all he ever talked about was becoming a vampire. And then he kind of got the hint that it wasn't going to happen. And he took it into his own hands. And that is actually a good thing for him, because now if his friend does turn him into a vampire, at least he gets turned on his own terms. And I don't know how vampires work or the story of vampires work, but he is Nandor's familiar. But once he becomes a vampire, if he does, he's not a familiar anymore. He's a vampire who needs his own familiar. So how's Nandor going to react when he loses the one person he could really rely on to do everything for him? The look on Guillermo's face when Colin was back. Yeah. I think out of all the vampires, Guillermo didn't care for Colin the most. I think maybe it's because he wasn't a real vampire. He did always seem to have like an eye roll towards him, where everyone else kind of frustrates him, where they feel like they're just incompetent and they're idiots. He knows that Colin's not an idiot, like intelligence-wise. He's just a dick and really boring. Elephant in the room. Will Guillermo become a vampire? I don't see how he doesn't take the money and do it. The only way I could see them not doing it immediately is if they write into the story that a vampire has to be like a vampire for a little while to be able to turn someone into a vampire. Like there's a rule, or you just can't do it yet. That's the only loophole I could see, because I don't know why he would not want to do it as his friend, and especially given all that money, do it no problem. So it's either he physically isn't able to do it yet, maybe it's a skill that's learned by vampires, or they pull like something where as he's about to do it, Nandor shows up and stops it, and they take the money back or something. But I do want Guillermo to be a vampire, and I don't want it to be Nandor who turns him into one, because then Nandor is going to use that as, I did this for you, so even though you're not my familiar anymore, I still you still owe me, so I really want him to become one on his own terms, and this is kind of suits him now, because throughout the season we learned he was also stealing a little bit of money from the club and spending it on himself. When he tried to pay off the cameraman. The thing about the club that I think I got this joke, maybe I'm looking too much into it. Throughout the whole season, her big feature, besides Colin in the beginning, obviously, was the blood sprinklers. And the blood sprinklers never went off when she wanted them to. And throughout the season, you or I just think that they're broke, like they were put together wrong, they don't work. But in the last episode, when there's a fire that she wants to collect insurance money on, it gets foiled because the blood put the fire out. So common sense to me anyway is that these idiots jerry-rigged the fire sprinklers to shoot blood instead of installing blood sprinklers. And that's the reason why they never went off when they needed them to, was because they would not go off unless there was a fire. So I know it seems like simple to say that now after, but during the season I never picked up on that. Like I don't know if there were little clues or little hints. I've been watching the season on a 27-inch monitor from my computer. So if I was watching it on like a 50-inch, maybe I could see like when they're at the sprinkler waiting it to go off, was there like the little fire sign next to it or something? Maybe that was like an Easter egg for us, like these idiots just jerry-rigged the fire sprinklers. I don't know, but it was funny that they didn't go off until the end. Like when she needed it, it wouldn't work, and then when she didn't need them to go off, they went off. And even if they didn't, she didn't have insurance, so she wouldn't have gotten any money anyway. Per Guillermo letting her know that you have to pay for insurance before something burns down. Let's see what other episodes. The wedding episode was pretty funny, but just sitting here thinking, there wasn't anything I could think of off the top of my head that was too memorable about that one. Pine Barrens was good when they went on the hunting trip. That was pretty funny. I liked that episode. The Freddy episode made me sad. Anytime something bad happens to Guillermo, I get very sad because he doesn't deserve any of it. And like in the beginning, and I don't know why the writers do this. Like the only reason to make a good character go through stuff like this is so he wins at the end. And there's only 2 seasons left. And I do not want him to win literally at the end. Like that would make no sense. I need him to win and at least have a season or 2 of that, because like every time he seems to get something, they take it away from him in like the worst way. Like the episode where in Pine Barrens, when everyone's gone and he thinks they're gone, he invites his family over to eat, and he lies about like being in a relationship with Najma, and then he tells the truth to everybody. Like that was a big step for him. He was really emotional when he did it, letting the family know that about his life, that he lives with vampires, that he is a gay man, And then a couple of episodes later, he meets somebody and he's very happy. And I think in my reaction, as soon as I introduced Freddy, I think I immediately said they better not like F this up. And of course they do, because Nandor is Nandor and he can't help himself. So Guillermo does not get what he wants in that regard. But because of that, I'm glad that he stole all the money. Oh my god, Laszlo's outfit in Go Flip Yourself. Dude, even though Laszlo's like he is my favorite character. Yeah, Laszlo is. He's just, I feel like he ad-libs a lot, even though obviously it's a script, but the way he delivers his lines just sounds so natural, and he could just say something normal. That's hilarious. Let's see if I missed anything. That scene where Guillermo walks into the room and they're all dressed. Oh yeah, I think Najwa was wearing like all pink, like Barbie. The private school episode, dude. That one, that was like boggling my mind. Like I was there in real life in the episode. Every time they switched, they don't even know how to lie correctly. It's like they have to come up with a super elaborate lie when a small little white lie would suffice. It was in private school. It was in private. Wait, Laszlo's Apple's Best. No, it was in private school. Yeah, that was the fuzzy bucket hat was in that episode, right? When the school came to interview Colin's parents, and Laszlo was wearing that. Wasn't he wearing like a red like jeans and a red like shirt like the guy from Home Improvement? And that was the same episode that Nandor was doing the face stuff, like he was wishing basically Botox onto his face, and then Najwa was wearing all pink. Nandor with the facelift stuff was out of control. Let's see. The grand opening of the nightclub. That one I don't remember too much either. The big musical guest. Oh, that was when they were trying to get that rapper, I think, and he didn't show up. Oh yeah. Didn't they dress as human? Oh no, they didn't dress as humans in Flip Yourself either. That one I don't remember, but yeah, you're right. That episode with the clothes was the one with the school, and then Flip Yourself was separate. The Flip Yourself was actually another good callback to the beginning of the season when I think it was the first episode where Laszlo's by himself watching that show when everyone returns. So it was cool that they brought that back. And I believe the host of the episode he was watching was that guy who was in the actual Flip Yourself episode. Yeah. Uh, Nandor needs a lot of help. Let's see. He can. Dude, he couldn't even keep his eyes open or talk. But what, I guess, what are we expecting in the next season? I honestly don't know where it could go. Because the only seeds they really planted for next season is Guillermo becoming a vampire, pretty much. So I would not be mad if most of season 4 revolved around Guillermo. Because I feel like he didn't get a lot of screen time this season. I did notice that Harvey Guillen yesterday posted a picture on Instagram that they did start filming season 5. So as of September 14th, season 5 is in production, and I'm guessing it'll come out around the same time. This one was like 10 weeks ago, so that was like, what was it, July? Season 4 came out? It feels like yesterday. When Nando was wishing and it looked like he had plastics. Yeah, he's nuts. So yeah, season 5 revolving around Guillermo would be perfect. I guess revolving around Guillermo becoming a vampire, and maybe a little bit about Laszlo's grief about Colin not remembering, and maybe finding out that Colin does remember and he just doesn't want to say anything. How Nandor deals with having, he had his wife for most of the season and then he got tired of her. So is he always going to be tired of relationships, or is he still going to be searching for one? Because a big part of the last 2 seasons was him feeling like he wasn't happy because he didn't have anyone, and Laszlo had Najma. So after that ordeal, does he even want that anymore? Probably not. But we need happy Guillermo. I would love for fake Freddy to somehow die. Maybe when you bring somebody back from the dead, they actually don't live that long, maybe. But I would love for original Freddy to come back. But would Guillermo really want him back after getting with himself? Probably not. So I guess that's the last we'll see of Freddy. I'm guessing that my audio and video is fine, regardless of what YouTube is telling me right now. Stupid audio bitrate. Because it looks fine. Yeah, and I don't want to mess with anything if it's working, so that is good. What else? What else? I was kind of disappointed that we didn't get a post-credit scene, even though the money scene was kind of a post-credits, but just not after the credits. Yeah, I think they established that Nandor is older than all of them. Definitely older than Laszlo, because I think they said Nandor became a vampire in his teens or something like that. And I think Laszlo was older than that when it happened. I think Laszlo's the youngest because Najma turned Laszlo. So Nandor's the oldest, Najma's the second, and then Laszlo is got to be the youngest. Nandor felt like he was progressing and not being so selfish, but it kind of turned. And he went back to his old ways. Hopefully, he becomes humble, but he's had that personality for thousands of years, so how did it all change on a dime? Cool. Thanks for that. Yeah, I'm gonna try to think of some more Shadows videos to do. I might go through and maybe rewatch some of the season 4 episodes, put together like of my favorite moments list, best of list. I wish more people would have logged in today. I got a good amount of people on my Our Flag Means Death live stream, so I was hoping I would get that many people to kind of talk about what everyone's favorites were, but I have 2, and 2 is not bad for my first stream for this show. But I do have to finish Flags and then do an end of season for me anyway, because I haven't finished it yet, live stream. But yeah, I gotta put out some more content for these shows that are more than just reaction videos. Reactions are fine, but I want to go into a little more detail and more videos to engage the audience, I would say. I know I've heard from people that season 4, maybe even season 3, haven't been as funny as season 1 and 2. I will admit that season 1 is probably the most laugh out loud, hysterical season out of all 4 seasons. And all 4 seasons are funny to me. I love almost every episode. I just think they got to more into story after season 1, and everything wasn't kind of like slapstick. I do notice that, again, everyone has their funny moments, everyone's funny. To me, Laszlo and Guillermo have been the most consistent. The writing for Najma, which I've spoke about this with Karina before, is they kind of write, this season anyway, they write her more of just cursing, pretty much. And it is kind of funny, but it's like a one-trick pony. She just seems to say fuck a lot, which, sometimes you kind of know it's coming, but when you don't know, and it's pretty hilarious. But she does have good banter with, and I forget her character name, the one that was helping her run the club. Like, they have really good banter together, even though I think if some people don't like her, but she has that like dry humor. What was her name? If anyone could tell me her name, she's called the something. Damn. I'll have to go right now to YouTube and find her name. The guide. Kristen Shaw, who plays the guide. The guide is really dry, but she plays well with Najma because Najma, oh my god, why did I put an M in her name? I can't even speak correct. Naja. I always say Najma. I don't know why. So the guide and Naja, I think, have a great rapport because they seem like opposite sides of the spectrum on anything. Naja is really outgoing, boisterous, and the guide is just kind of like bland, monotone, and boring, and they kind of play off well. We haven't seen Jenna. I thought we were going to see her a lot. That was the girl in season 1 or 2 that Naja turned into a vampire. I thought she was going to take her under her wings. She didn't die. I just remember she taught her how to turn into a bat, and she just turned into a really big one. But then we never saw Jenna again. She was played by Beanie Feldstein. Didn't see much of the Baron after he got turned back into a healthy vampire, and he wasn't like all ashy and burnt up and split in half. So I don't know. Will we be seeing more of the Baron going forward? The OG cast from the movie, like Jermaine Clement and Taika Waititi, they seem to always make a little cameo in every season. So I like cameos, but I'm glad they're not in like everything. Like, this is its own thing, and it's lovely and perfect. So, if they trickle in here and there, I'm fine with that. Oh, Nick Kroll as Simon the Devious, going back to the episode. What the hell? My mind is crazy. I can't even remember anything. Flip yourself. Go flip yourself. That was a surprise to see Nick Kroll as Simon the Devious again, because he is devious, so it fits into his vampire name that he would pull an elaborate scheme to do all of this just to get the witch's hat back. So that was pretty funny. Fun fact, Nick Kroll, who plays Simon the Devious, and Kristen Schaal, who plays the guide, make a cameo in episode 4 or 5 of Our Flag Means Death. They play what you think are husband and wife, and I think they are husband and wife, but it turns out they're really brother and sister. Yeah, there's not that long of a cast list. That what is the hat with the witch's asshole on the end? I'm actually glad that it's out of the house, but I somehow feel like it'll end up back in Laszlo's possession again. Also, all those changes they made in Go Flip Yourself, because they still gave Laszlo the hat room, but we never see it again. So is that just one of those things where it's forget about it, or does that room still exist? And Nandor did have his man cave too, because that was completed. What does everybody feel about the next door neighbors? That's Charmaine and Sean Rinaldi. I think they're pretty funny, and it, I would have liked a explanation or maybe an episode, because I think it could have been funny, of how Sean, because they basically made him, they scrambled his brain that episode where he didn't know who he was and where he was, and unless I missed it, they didn't really explain how he's normal again. I guess you can either assume that it wears off or they fixed him, but the way they made it seem at the time where they did that to him, it sounded like it was pretty permanent. So I think an episode of that would have been pretty funny. He was in the episode of Our Flag Means Death when the first episode that Blackbeard goes to the fancy party, and it's all those old timey people with that like the white face paint on. They're in that episode. But yeah, the neighbors are really, really cool. I like that instead of eating their neighbor, they kept them as a best friend. And I mean, obviously they could wipe their memories at any time. But yeah, they did it once and he was really scrambled, but he's fine now. Oh, the episode of the at the cabin, that was Pine Barrens. That was another kind of sad episode when Laszlo and Nando were kind of yelling at each other, and Laszlo called Sean his best friend, and Nando was so sad. But at least at the end, they actually did make up, because Nandor pretty much was like, I miss when we would hang out. Like, why don't we do that anymore? And Laszlo was like, yeah, I miss that too. So they kind of have like a true relationship like brothers, where really you don't treat your brother very well on a day-to-day basis, but at the end of the day, you want to do stuff with them and you hang out with them and you do enjoy your brother. It's just that's how it is. You're just a pain in the ass to them all day. And that seems like Nandor and Laszlo. Yeah, when he was shooting the gun and Nandor was catching it, he's like, "You shot me." He's like, "I shot at you." I don't think there are any season 5 rumors yet. I think it's too early. Who else? There's not that big of a cast here to talk about. I will say, there was a show we were watching a couple of weeks ago, and the guy who plays Colin Robinson was in it, and I had totally forgot he was in it. He's in a lot of stuff, that guy, and it's funny because he is a very recognizable face, and he's in a lot. But then you rewatch an old movie, and you totally forget that he's in it. But I digress. Um, So I think I got a good amount of other shows to watch. I just need to pick one. So Shadows is obviously off, so I don't have to do Shadows recap videos or reaction videos. And then I only have 5 more episodes of Our Flag Means Death. So once I'm done with those 5 episodes, I'm definitely going to need a new show to watch until these 2 shows come back. And then on my other channel for Disney content, I'm doing She-Hulk reaction videos, which aren't gaining much traction, so I might actually stop doing those and find a new show. But I probably have the time in total to react to maybe 4 shows a week, 3 or 4. If they're an hour, I would say probably 2. So in between these shows, I could probably pick up something else. But I'm fairly new to doing this, so it takes me a really long time to edit. But I'll see. Like I said, everyone has been messaging me with some really good ideas for shows. Just unfortunately, they're all an hour, so I would probably only be able to pick one. And I know, like, Hannibal, which is a great show, is 3 seasons, but it was canceled. So I don't know if I want to invest in a show that doesn't end like correctly. So correct me if I'm wrong. I think it was just they didn't finish it. And Good Omens, I think, is a newer show that is still going. But I'll have to go through everything and just pick something soon because I anticipate the last 5 episodes of Flags. I could probably do 2 a week now since I have no shadows. If I do 2 next week and 2 the week after, I'll be done with the 5 episodes in like 2 weeks. Or I could just watch one every day and finish it in 1 week, but that would be kind of tiring. So maybe I'll do 2 a week, and then in a month I'll do a season recap. That'll be good. And then between then I'll do some other videos. Scrambly. Oh yeah, they give them the scramblies. But looks like, let's see, it has a pretty decent ending for a canceled show. Well, since Hannibal is based on Hannibal Lecter, I don't know if that show is separate from Silence of the Lambs. Like, it's not a prequel of that movie, it's a prequel of kind of that story. So I guess I feel like 3 seasons of this is fine because you know where it goes, maybe? I'm not too sure. But I'm looking, I've been on for about 45 minutes and I'm on my lunch break. So I kind of have to go back to lunch. So I want to thank Karina and Plot Bunny Catcher 9 for logging on and chatting with me for almost an hour. Even though I only had 2 viewers, I'm still gonna try to do more live streams of this. You know, the more episodes I put out for this show and videos, I've been getting good viewership for these videos. I've been getting around 400 to 500 views, and I only currently have around 70 subs, so that's a lot. And it's similar for Our Flags Means Death, even though episode 5 is my first episode to get over 1,000 views. So I feel like that community and maybe enjoys talking more about that show, but we'll see. Again, I want to thank you for hopping on with me today, and keep watching, liking, subscribing my videos, and I'll see you on my next one. Peace, guys.